One of the comments I get a lot on my videos is that, old Mike, you're just a natural at this. I got to tell you, every time I read that, I think, man, they just don't know what really is going on. I grew up as a terrified introvert, afraid to speak to anybody, especially in front of audiences. What you're seeing now is not magic. It's not genes. It's not even luck. It was learned slowly over 50 years of my life. If you think some people are just born confident to be on the camera, then this video is for you. And I'm going to share with you my 2 secrets that you can start today putting into practice that will make you more confident in front of the camera. And stick around to the end, because I want to share with you the most important question I think every YouTube creator needs to ask themselves. Hi, this is Old Mike, old me, living better. If you ain't dead, man, you ain't done. I was kicked out of high school in my junior year. I ended up going to another high school. It was our rival, so I wasn't happy about that. When I got there, though, the only elective class I could get into was public speaking. Of all things, that was the last class I would have picked in my entire life. But would you believe I discovered halfway through that class, I kind of like public speaking. What I learned there was really cool. I went on to college. I minored in speech. I was on the debate team for my college. After my time in the Marine Corps, I went to seminary. And in that seminary, I was required to take a preaching class. Well, the professor there gave me a tip that was the greatest thing for me. He said, you ought to go join Toastmasters International. And that's what I did. I spent 10 years in Toastmasters International, and now, 45 years since then, I've spoken to thousands of people on the radio, on the television, and here now on YouTube and from the pulpit of my church and other churches and conferences. So did I have a leg up when I started my YouTube channel at 80 years old? Yeah, I sure did. But to be clear, I was not a natural. I've spent 50 years now practicing and learning communication. And here's the secret. I'm still doing it. Here are the 2 things that I think if you put these into practice today or this week, you will become better in front of a camera. Your camera confidence will increase. Number 1, study others. That's right, study others. For years now, I've watched 1 TED Talk a day. That's right. I watch 1 TED Talk a day. I'm not interested in the topics of the TED Talks. I'm interested in how to master sharing something on a camera or to an audience in 18 minutes. That's what I'm interested in. I'm looking at posture, pace, gestures, pauses, all of the flow, the clarity, all of the things that you see in a TED Talk. I love the book Talk Like TED. I recommend you get this book. I'll leave a link in the description for it if you want to pick it up. I've enjoyed reading this book. Matter of fact, I'm now in my second time through it, and I refer to it a lot in my own personal development for camera confidence. Carmen Gallo, who wrote the book, this is what he says: you can't inspire others unless you are inspired yourself. Let me read that again. You can't inspire others unless you are inspired yourself. Gallo says, this is the common thread that runs through every TED Talk presenter. In the book, he has 9 core principles for every TED Talk. Again, I recommend you get the book. Now, here's a bonus tip in number 1, which is study others. But here's a bonus tip. Spend more time watching effective speakers and less time watching gurus who tell you how to be an effective speaker. I love it. Everybody is telling you how to be an effective speaker. Well, and I'm not saying don't watch those gurus. They've got a lot of good content, I'm sure. But for me personally, I've learned more by watching others who are actually doing it than listening to the ones who are giving the advice on how to do it. So studying others is only half the equation. You need number 2 to make this really work. Number 1 was study others. Here's number 2, study yourself. That's right, study yourself. Most creators never improve because they never review themselves. Man, I've been used to reviews all my life. Job reviews, performance reviews in the Marine Corps. All of the things that I've had to go through for reviews, and I learned from all of them. Let me introduce you to Mike's no matter how much rule. Here it is. No matter how much I love my wife, I can love her more. No matter how great the last video was, it could be better. To be clear, I have learned to be content with the video that I just uploaded. But here's the kicker, I'm never satisfied with it. I've learned to be content with it, but I'm never satisfied with it because it could always be better. I have a specific purpose in watching my videos. It's to get 1% better. We hear this all the time from gurus all over the place. Get 1% better. Well, they never tell you how to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. When I was in Toastmasters, every presentation that we made was evaluated. And I was in Toastmasters long enough to become an evaluator, and I evaluated a lot of presentations in my time in Toastmasters International, maybe 100 presentations or more. Matter of fact, I'm going to provide a link in the description to Toastmasters International and to their evaluation form. It gives you an idea of how speaking is evaluated, not for the purpose of tearing somebody down, but to give them encouragement to get better. So when I review one of my own videos, I'm looking for diction, gestures, clarity, transitions. What could I have done better? How can I be more specific? Man, I've had some colossal issues in some of my videos, including mispronouncing words and being taken to task by my viewers. But I don't see it that way. Every single criticism I get in my videos, I don't get a lot of them, but I take them all to heart. I look at every single one of them because even if they're nasty, there's a kernel of truth in every one of those. So here's what I think. If you're not evaluating your videos after they're published, you cannot grow 1% for the next one. The only way to grow is to know where you are, know the mistakes you've made, and have a way to evaluate that in a constructive way, not just how you feel about, oh, I wasn't happy enough or energetic enough. No, look at the video, write down the areas, pinpoint 3 things in every video that you could improve. And then when you shoot the next video, pick at least one of those things to improve. So everything I've shared comes down to one decision. One decision that determines whether you're going to actually improve or stay stuck or just stay where you are. Here's the question that I promised to give you at the beginning of this video. Am I going to be a casual creator or an intentional creator? That's the question every single YouTube creator needs to ask themselves. Am I going to be a casual creator or an intentional creator? Nothing against casual creators. There's thousands of them. Some of them I really like. They don't care about how their video looks. They don't care about how they sound. And a lot of those people get away with it because they just is part of their personality. So casual creators upload a video and move on. Intentional creators review, refine, and return better. Let me make that distinction again. Casual creators post a video and move on, never worry about it. If that's you, great. Intentional creators review, refine, and return better at least 1% for every video. Camera confidence does not come from talent. It comes from intention. Intentional creators are dedicated to making the small incremental changes from video to video to grow 1% better every time. And you can do that by studying others and studying yourself. Studying others and studying yourself. And if you want some help in starting or recording your very first video, check out this video up here. That might be of interest to you. This is old Mike, old me, living better, loving being in front of the camera, but I wasn't born this way. I grew into it. I studied others and I study myself. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.